computer. Okay. Do you guys hear that, or am I the only one that hears recording in progress?
We can hear. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
we hear
all of
it.
us here? Okay. I
yeah.
didn't know. I can't remember with the others. I'm like, it's so loud. How could you not know? Okay. Um, I don't know about you, but I love storytelling, and so this
Yeah,
one was
it was
kind of
great.
cool.
Mhm.
Um, invite team members to share some of their most meaningful takeaways or nuggets for the material they studied this week. So, anybody want to start us off?
I can. There was in the Viral Solutions article, I just found this sentence really interesting. According to GuideStar, our brains process visuals 60,000 times faster than text, and content that contains visuals drives up to 180% more engagement than plain text. Um, there's such great power in visuals and being able to look at something. And I mean, I think I've always known that, but seeing like these numbers, it's just like, whoa, like, yeah,
Right.
like that's wild. 60,000 times faster than text. Like, it's hard to even
That's so funny. That's
process
my
that.
number one nugget.
Is it?
It's the one I put, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
that's funny.
How about you, Eric? Anything?
Yeah, I actually it goes with Carly's message, because it says simplicity is often the goal of for most graphics, but at the same time, I was thinking like any degree of um knowledge you might have in society or in life in general, a graphic will be able to touch your heart no matter what kind of education you have or anything. So it was great for me. So
Right.
at first, I know I didn't have a lot of knowledge, but now I'm studying more and more and more. As I get more, even the same graphic will have the same meaning for me. So
Yeah, I'm one of those that can cry at the, what is the Kodak commercial or
Yep.
so dog food or
Yep.
whatever.
I'm the same.
Um, Lily also said being the hero in somebody's story by donating time, money, and or resources. Yeah, that is a great nugget. I put in at its very core, marketing is storytelling. The best advertising campaigns take us on an emotional journey, appealing to our wants, needs, and desires, while at the same time telling us about a product or a service. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm more out to buy it when you got me. You hooked me in, or be a part of something like that. Um, all right. Any other take nuggets?
I also liked the quote by Robert McKee says storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world. And it really is because storytelling it goes back since the beginning of time. Like everybody can tell a story. Everybody understands stories. And yeah, so I just kind of like that. Yeah, it is the most powerful way to put ideas out in the world. Everyone can understand it.
Well, and they mentioned this too, that that's how the Savior operated. He told
Hmm.
parables,
Yep.
and because they were relatable, and yet there's so much in a parable, and I don't know how many times I have studied them in my life. I walk away going, oh, I don't remember that fact. Or I try to look at now I'm a big Chosen fan, and I don't know if any of you have watched it and go, huh, I have never seen it from that angle and had it, I'm not saying that's the gospel, but it definitely appeals to the senses to look at it from a different angle too. So it does do that. Um, any,
I also did
any,
enjoy the military guy that was talking about making your bed. That was funny
Yeah.
because that's true. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Like during the day, it goes all everything goes wrong, and at night at least you've done your bed, so you've done something for the world.
Yeah, well, and he also, the thing about his talk is he brought up all the severe training they all go through, and yet the thing that gets them through are the simple things like a song, just something simple that lifts you and keeps you where you need to be. So, yeah, um, absolutely. Okay. Now, share each of the critics of Generations United infograph. What made the infographics and associated video effective or ineffective? If you were paid consultant, what would you recommend? Some may wonder why having such infographics is even important. You guys remember so one of the things I liked about it is it was colorful. And to
Mhm.
me, that it gave life. It
Which one?
wasn't, both of them were.
Oh,
I'm trying to pull up I printed the one off. I don't know if you guys can see that. Whoops.
yeah,
No, not
a little
very.
bit.
Yeah, a little
It
blurry.
kind of comes in. Yeah, it's not. Anyway, I can pull it. I can share a screen if I find, oh, here it is. Is that gonna do it? If I click on that?
What I
Nope.
liked about the infographic, it goes along with kind of the visual you were talking about, is that the people on it were diverse. Like the characters of the people were diverse, which I think is really um, important.
Yeah, and not just in color, but shapes and
Mm-hmm.
sizes and even abilities.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to find it. Let's see. So, whoops, nope, that's not
I
it.
can challenge you guys on that since I'm the challenger because I studied in graphic design for many years, and but that's just my opinion. It's just that Generation United I didn't like too much because I thought there were no speaking at all, and I like the picture, I like the colors, that was great, but at the same time the music was too loud also. So for me, I don't know for your computer.
Yeah, I made that observation as well. I was like the music was uplifting, but it was overpowering and
Yeah,
also without having a voiceover of some kind, it's not as accessible to other people, right? So,
kind of lost the message they were trying to. There was too much picture. I don't know. I would have put it like just in between, but it wasn't bad. But it's the way that I saw that.
You guys see that screen?
Not yet.
No? Oh, there it is.
oh, there
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. This
Okay.
one is great.
Hmm.
Now, see, I didn't mind the music. I found it upbeat, and I didn't mind that there wasn't the sound. And again, it's a personal preference, and I
Hmm.
understand where you're coming from. I'm one that watches K-dramas, so I
That's great.
read all my text when I watch it because I obviously don't speak Korean. Um, and so I liked the ability to just be able to look at it quickly and analyze what I wanted to analyze from it and not have it talk to me on and on. Does that make sense? And I have discovered that that little sense in me that sometimes I get frustrated watching things where I have to listen to them rattle on, and I just want them to get to the meat of things so I can just read it and go. Um, but again, it
It
was
was a great one. It's just that personally, when the numbers were moving from one side to another, that was too fast for me. Maybe
I
because I'm not like English speaking native, but I was just like, whoa, 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 stop.
no, I found the same thing, Eric. I was like, that was the
Oh
first I
yeah?
was like, I feel like I have to slow this video way down to get all the information. Like I was able to
Yeah.
read it, but it wasn't sinking in. It was,
processing. Well, the
yeah.
nice thing is
Yeah,
you
I'm a
did
slow
have
processor.
yeah, you did have the little I guess this infograph
Hmm.
page that allows us
Yeah,
to
the pages
see
are better.
everything. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I like how they've divided it. It makes sense with this. Let's see. Let me see what else. Did anybody else
Yeah,
put anything?
Anna Lily is saying the same thing. She says same for me on the infographic and videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would there be any recommendations? Slow it down.
Hmm.
Yeah, slow it down. Yeah. Maybe
Would that
the music a little lower, but apart from that, that was pretty good.
okay? I just here were some of my recommendations, and only because they asked me, not because I probably thought it needed it. It's one of those things where it's like, well, you're asking some ideas, let's think about. And so number one is make sure the data is always up to date. I think that's something where the data can be changing a lot. And
Yeah.
so this is an infographic that would have to be updated on a regular basis. Um, and then to include actual stories. There were no, I mean, there were a blip, but there was no actual personal experience or stories. We just saw a moment in time, and who knows, maybe that was the only successful event they actually had. And so they got some pictures of it. I don't know, but I think that would have been. And then again, I think it is easy to share on social media. Just something that would be easy to do with for anybody. Um,
Like you said, Johnny, I think a story would have been like a real great punch just to make the message like clearer or maybe just more, I don't know, attra attractive or appealing.
yeah. Well, or maybe success stories. I mean, it would be nice to know, hey, it's working and this is why it's working. And I mean, it's nice to see those cute little pictures because it's all warm and fuzzy inside, but a story is really good too. It takes me, so my sister-in-law runs her own nonprofit organization. It's called Solely for Kids. I don't know if I've shared this before, but they basically gather shoes and they take them down to Mexico and they literally put them on the kids' feet. She'll take down 200 volunteers and they'll go on dusty dirt roads into areas where, bathrooms are outhouses and stuff. And so they'll spend an entire day. Well, some of these families will walk miles just to get there so they can get a pair of shoes for their kids. But I've only done it once with her. We've donated money to get more shoes, and I mean she has a great organized thing. Anyway, I did have a really good experience with it. And she kept saying, share the experience. And I was busy and I never did. And now I take this class and I'm like, oh, shoot, opportunity lost. But it was about a little blind girl that came in and she was more animated than any of the rest of the kids. She was just like, I'm here to get some shoes. I'm so excited. I get some shoes. And she couldn't see. She couldn't see anything. She was being guided by two other kids. When they do it, it's done at a park, and so the parents can't come in, but they watch because if the parents come in, they start rummaging through the shoes and taking. And so it's done with the kids anyway. Um, she was so excited, and I walked over to the bin to get her shoes, and I pulled out a pair of shoes and I took them to her, and without realizing it, as I'm putting her on her, the bottom soles light up, and it like choked me up because out of all the shoes I could have picked, I picked the ones that lit up. So no matter, because her world's always dark. So wherever she was going to be seen, whether it's light or dark, those shoes were going to light up. And I just thought, wow, what a personal. And she was so excited. She put those on and danced around. And when she found out she got a pair of socks to go with it, it just like made her day. None of the other kids responded like that. She just was booming. And I thought, as I've been reading through this, I'm like, it was such an opportunity lost that would have been really appealing. Just wish we had pictures. It was really a powerful experience just having that happen. Anyway,
Cool.
all right. Let's see, what are we on to next? Sorry, I just lost my
Number five.
Yeah,
The review of the 4 videos.
yes. The review of the four of the eight. I watched all eight
Yeah, me too.
because I liked them.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
So,
Especially the little boy with the first one with the drummer.
yeah,
I
I've
would
never
have
watched
loved to
that one.
have a teacher like that when I was young. That
yeah,
was great.
that one was really good. Let me get the charge back up. I've shared my screen. I lost my charge. Hold on, I'm getting is it charger? Oh, I didn't pull it up. Okay. Anyway, the questions are, um, have each member share their critiques of the four video stories they analyzed for effectiveness. Did they both inform and inspire? Did the stories invite you as a character who could help save the day? Did you feel a call to action? Overall, which one did you think was the best and why? Wow, that's a lot of questions.
Hmm.
So, Eric, you've shared one. Carly, do you want to share one?
Just trying to think of, I'm trying to remember back to what they actually like were. Oh, the most shocking second a day one with the little girl. It was like a snippet of every day for like I think like a whole year from one birthday to the next. Um, I feel like the answer to all those questions was yes, 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 yes. Like it invoked, it was informative, it was inspiring. It made me, don't bite me. It made me want to help. It like that empathy was showing. Like I was almost in tears, like thinking about this girl and especially with like what's going on in the world right now. Like I think it's really easy to distance ourselves from these countries and these areas that are going through absolute hell, basically. When I'm living my cushy life here in southern Alberta. And so it was just a real, just a small glimpse into it. And it was just like, man, this is real. And this is people's reality today. And it made me want to help. It made me want to be like, okay, what can I do? Um, show my support and all that stuff. So I think it was a really powerful video that a lot of people should see.
Yeah, I agree. It made me want to bring her home.
Yeah.
Just like, let me protect you. Let me take care of
Hmm.
you. It was,
Yeah. She was so just broken at the end. Just no.
it really was just very broken at the end.
Yeah.
I've got to, hold on. I've got to see what videos we're talking about because, okay. Um, there was, like I said, I saw them all. Um, I do like the Mr. Jensen.
Yeah,
Um, okay, one story I wasn't as, it didn't evoke me as much was the one about real stories of hunger. I was not as caught into that
me
as I
too.
was with some of you were.
I wasn't too. I was like you. I was like, okay, that's great, but
Yeah, it didn't motivate me as much. But then again, I've not been in her shoes, and I think it would have motivated me or sparked a reminder if I had experienced something like that. But I really wasn't as motivated. Um, I found LDS Charities, that was cool. I'm glad to be a part of that. But one of the ones that actually was motivating to me was the beggar and
yeah,
how the
me
girl
too.
walked by and she
The
changed
power of
his
words.
sign,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which she just said, I said the same thing, but different.
yeah.
And
He
that
added some
one,
words.
yeah, that one actually I was touched by and motivated by, like all it was a simple act of kindness. And to me, there was a lot more said there. Number one, any one of us can make a difference it just being positive. And she did.
Yeah,
She didn't even give money. All she
Mhm.
did was add a positive thought a positive spin on the situation, and the outcome was so much better. And I just felt like that was motivating enough. Like, how can I be that positive spin that would change the outcome of somebody's life for that day or permanently for that fact.
Yeah.
Let's see. Every
Yeah,
time I
like you,
change,
I said there was no wow reaction for the other stories that I watched, apart from these two that I really enjoyed. But uh, yeah, that was great to see. She let, with the power of words, the woman let the bigger uh be self-reliant in a way. So that
Mhm.
was great because he still had to work, or kind of like work begging. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, well, I just like I said, it was evident that it changed his life, but it gave everybody a new perspective though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The passerbyers had a different perspective all of a sudden. Everybody wanted to offer something better. And so I liked it for that. I thought it was a good story message anyway. And I liked the fact he recognized her. So
The
there was
shoes.
also the guy who was beaten up, and that's interesting. That video I have used as because I've been a seminary teacher before, and we've used that video for the Good Samaritan, a modern day Good Samaritan, the guy that, loses his wallet, comes out to the street, and it's kind of interesting. You've got everybody passing by and they work for or are doing things for the very person, but yet they'll ignore the very person that needs it at the moment. So, anything else you want to bring up? Um,
Yeah, that's just funny because this week I was watching these videos, and like you, Johnny, I really enjoy stories, and I watch a lot of movies, and it's almost every single night. But I got a new class for term 2, and it's writing stories. So that was funny. It starts
Oh.
at the same time that we're, but that makes a lot of things to think about. So I'm getting confused in all my classes because we're talking about the same thing.
but from a different angle.
Yeah.
I did watch one of these optional. I don't normally watch the optional just because of time. I am lucky to get everything done I need to get done. But I did watch the one, I didn't watch both of them, but there was one with the story about the guy on the park bench. There really was no words, few words, but it's about a girl who comes in and she jogs by and she sees him there on the park bench. And so the next time when she comes by, he's still on the park bench and she shoves a note in his shirt in the back. So he takes the note and he reads it and smiles. The next time she comes, she sees him and she shoves a note in his shirt in the back. And it's obvious that she kind of is trying to get his attention. And at one point, she jogs by and she falls. And he doesn't get up to help her. And she runs away. And you hear her thought process of, I guess he's not who I thought he would be. And she's kind of let down because he didn't get up to help her. And then she's watching through the bushes, watching from afar, and she sees a caregiver show up with a wheelchair to assist this man back into his chair. And then it just talked about, that perception. Sometimes it's not always what we think it is. And he, in the meantime, waited for her to jog by because he realized she couldn't speak. She only knew sign because she couldn't hear. And so he signed to her and they formed a little friendship. But yeah, sometimes we make assumptions of people that aren't fair, and and we don't have all the information. So I liked the video. I thought it was very appropriate. All right. If time permits, which we've got plenty of time, discuss and explore some of the following questions or concepts before. Choose the questions most meaningful to your group. Anybody want to go first?
Yeah, I took A. What are 5 specific tips for making a story impactful? Um, so be concise. For me, it was really important because you don't want to speak forever like me. I speak a lot. So sometimes people like my wife, they just fall asleep if I speak too long. Then not putting too much data into it, because it says that if you put, but if you put no data, it becomes like a fictional story. So you need to put some, but not too much, and engage all the senses. That was great because I was trying to make a story and make a book one day that you could smell. Like you already have books like that. You can scratch and smell what's happening in that
Mhm.
part. So I found that really appealing and really engaging. So all the senses, that was a great one. And then build characters. It's really interesting because if you don't have good characters, then your story goes like, and know your audience. So, and I was trying this week as a challenger. I was thinking, how could you write a good story for a couple that's not it's not working well together? Uh, I got a lot of couples that I'm helping at the moment, so I'm trying to find out how to make a story about unity. Or, well, I know there's a lot of things on the church that we can check, but I don't know if you have any ideas like that with the smelling and with the hearing and with the sightseeing. So if you had ideas like that.
I haven't even thought about it. It sounds fantastic. I know recently I've been helping a few through a breakup and marriage stuff, and we just go, "Hey, have you read Anatomy of Peace?"
No, that's a
Which is
great one. I like it. Yeah.
it is a good one. But yeah, I don't. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a great tool for me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could.
no kidding. A good,
Oh,
that would be a great tool. But that
yeah.
great tips there though. Um, how about you, Carly? Anything?
Um, one of the ones I answered was question I. Why is storytelling important to building donor and volunteer support? And I wrote that it creates an emotional connection with anybody who watches and listens. It fosters empathy and understanding by making it more personal. That's kind of helping you to see um, their point of view. And then just as I was thinking about which one to share, that brought me back to the quote by Melinda Parton, who's the multimedia producer and digital marketing director. She says, at its very core, marketing is storytelling. The best advertising campaigns take us on an emotional journey, appealing to our wants, needs, and desires, while at the same time telling us about a product or service, which is essentially what um, people are doing when they're looking for donors and supporters, right? They're saying, hey, we've got this is what we're doing. We need your support. We need you to help change the world. And I took a marketing class a couple years ago, and um, it's so shocking, like the amount of effort and thought and how much marketing people know about you. I think we talked about this last week, was it? Yeah, like how much they understand consumers and people and the psychology, sociology of people, and they really prey on that, whether it be for good or for bad. Obviously, well, we'd like to think that for the most part, people who are looking for donors and volunteers are looking for good things, a positive thing, right? Um, so yeah, that's important to build uh, to use storytelling because it does create that emotional attachment to the story, to the organization, to the person in the video, or whatever it might be. Um, makes like all the videos I watch, I was like, yeah, I want to help them out. I want to help that one out too, you know? But that's also like a weakness of mine. I don't say no to anything. So
Uh, said well, there's a couple of them that I kind of talked a little bit about. One is the white space to promoting simplicity and making design attractive. And I just, white space makes it easier to read.
yeah.
And so if you are looking to have a very direct, like, because the infomercial that we studied for the other group obviously had no white space. It was a lot of color and movement and things where with white space, if you learn how to control it, you'll draw your attention where you want your reader to go. And it keeps it clean and sophisticated and it can be at a very appealing layout if you know how to use it. The other I talked about was how stories and visual data to be used to strengthen and focus the mission. Um, and again, we've kind of talked a little bit about this. Sorry, I tilted this down so I could read my screen. But data is hard to remember, whereas a story isn't. Um, and so that's the having the story fit the data or support the data just strengthens the message. And so the story can be very compelling visually that supports and helps the volunteer or donor to understand the cause and its effectiveness. It adds depth, engages emotion, and moves for action. It's impactful communication tool that helps build the relationship between the nonprofit organization and the donor and volunteers. And so yeah, that was something I did. As we've been talking just now, I'm going to take us on a tangent because we do have a few minutes extra. We may not make an hour. We needed Lily. It's weird, the four of us really do a good job. We balance it out. Um, I just recently applied for a job and I needed to make a cover letter. And I did use AI to make my cover letter, but it lacked that that wow factor, like that attention factor and stuff. And so I rewrote it 8 times in several different ways. And on the last round, my husband said to me, he says, "You just don't have a hook. You need a hook right in the beginning." And I sat there completely dejected, like, I have no hook. How do I? So listening to all of this infomercial and stuff, and watching, there is that hook, that thing that draws you in. Without it, it just doesn't work. And it took me just a moment and I got my hook. And my hook was, I was once asked, "What is your passion?" And that's how I started my letter. And I was able to pull in my whole thing and stuff. I've got nothing, just say no. And I was shooting for the moon on this job. I hope to hear, but I haven't heard anything. It's probably way out of my league, but that's okay. I thought I would try anyway.
Hmm.
Because I wanted the experience and I wanted to know. I felt confident that I could do the job, but I just needed to have the experience. And man, I came up with a killer letter. Uh, but yeah, having those stories bring it in. And my letter did focus kind of on this my journey of finding a passion and still promoting the data side of stuff. Was it was kind of exactly what we're talking about, is a cover letter and about yourself. So
Might not be because you're not doing the job. It's probably because, like I've heard often in my job, we often apply for different positions. In IT, it's really like all the time. And what I realized is people won't look at your resume. the whole pages. They won't look at it. They will look because if they got 2,000 to look at, they will take something that hit the face. So sometimes just like a small picture on not something cartoony, but like really just some color on your resume, or some people put pictures, but I mean, it grabs the attention, but
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I did put my picture on my cover letter. I put it up in the corner next
that's
to,
great.
the title, the header with, my name and stuff like that. I added my photo, and my husband, when he got it, he looked at it, he went, "Whoa." And I said, "I just
Oh,
want him to see who I am." Not only read it, but see who I am. It didn't put it on the resume, though. I probably should have put it on the resume also, but I did put it on the cover letter so that they could.
put some perfume on it too.
Yeah.
For the smell.
Yeah, well, this was all electronic. Let me just tell you. So I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up,
Hmm.
and got into the social innovation class. And they asked, "What is your passion?" And you should focus on it. And that's where I discovered I would really like to be involved in helping elevate women. And so the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is in Seattle, but so is Melinda Gates' private philanthropy. It's called Pivotal Ventures. And there was a position in that, and I applied for it
Cool.
along with probably 1,000 other people. So I was trying to look good and
Hmm.
draw attention. The job is still posted, but obviously they have not called me back.
Not
So who
yet.
knows?
It
That's
takes
right.
some
Not yet.
time.
It's any moment it can
Yeah,
happen. But the
We'll pray
experience has
for
been good.
you.
yeah.
That's right. It's been a good experience. It's for an administrative assistant position, which is what I currently do anyway. And I wanted to get my foot in the door because why not become a director? Why not be a part of it? So anyway, time will tell. They did say if you don't hear from us, don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah.
So,
But they never
but
do.
Exciting though.
yeah, it's when you're trying to sell yourself, it's so funny that we've studied this whole week because it's kind of that same idea of trying to sell yourself. Like
Hmm.
show, hey, I'm worth this. I can do this. But how do you do it to grab their attention, bring them in and say, "Yeah, I want to read about you."
Yep.
And so I can see how the storytelling and all that stuff totally works. Of course, I read all of this after I'd already applied for the job, but
That's so true what you're saying, because every time that I apply to a job, they call me just to ask some question, but I don't say too much. But normally I speak a lot, but I don't say too much. And I tell stories. I tell what happened in some kind of job. And actually, every time that they call me, I know I'll get the job because I don't know why. I'm not a good salesman, but every time I tell a story, people are like, okay, we get that guy.
yeah, you're
That's
personable.
awesome.
Well, the advantage on some of this is that I have been part of hiring groups. Um, this especially this past year, I've been a part of hiring at least 5 times now. And so I've been able to see what a good interview looks like and what a not so good interview looks
Hmm.
like and
Yeah.
anything in between and why we were impressed with some things because I've been part of that. So I'm like, come on, give me a chance. I just totally want to see what I can do now that I've, been on the other side. But we'll see. I'm excited about the opportunity. So food for thought. If any of you are looking to put a resume out there, use this. All the stuff that we're learning is totally applicable to that. Um,
Works great.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see. What else did we miss? Um, any other Oh, 10 minutes. Give a team members an opportunity to share any research, community sources, or information they prepared in their roles that may not have surfaced during the discussion. Did we kind of
Mm.
cover it all? We did really well. We killed it today
Mhm.
this week.
It was necessary for me because I got another meeting in like 5 minutes.
Oh, that worked out really well. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to say. Um, any other messages? Next week we'll figure out. I never did hear from Frank,
Mhm.
so
Oh,
that that is that. I hope everybody's happy with their grade, and I think we're done. I think
oh,
we can
yeah.
call it a night. Sound good? We did it in 50 minutes. There's only three of
Not
us.
bad.
Not bad. Yep.
It's good for
Lily
tutorial
says,
people.
Thanks, guys." She's like,
Or
"Thanks, guys." So, all right. So we'll post on who's doing what next week. Does that sound good? Or
Yep.
should we
yeah,
make assignments? We'll just post it. All right.
Yeah.
we can post it. Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Hey, have a good
All right.
night. Bye bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.